Welcome back, everybody. Today I've got another review for you, but it's not a gun review. Stick around. Hey guys, welcome back. So like I said, not a gun review, but I'm going to talk about this guy today. This is the E.T.S speed loader for pistol magazines. This one in particular is for 9 and 40 double stack magazines. And seen this thing around for a while, wanted to check one out and take a look at it, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I've been using this guy for years, which a lot of you guys will recognize what this is. This is the mag lula, up lula for pistols. This one works for single end, double stack, 9, 40, 45, 10 mil, 357 SIG, all those things. Maybe even 380s. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it because I only have two 380s and they're pretty easy to load. But been using this thing for a long time. Works great. I love it. It's small. It's compact. It stays in the range bag every time I go to the range. Mrs. Country loves this thing. This is like her favorite for when she gets towards the bottom of a magazine and her thumbs are starting to give out on her or whatever. This thing is great. But got this guy. A viewer actually got this in and sent it in for me to test out and tell you guys what I think about it. I gotta send it back to him after this video, which is why I'm making this video. So sorry, it's been a while. I know I've had it way longer than I said I was going to, and I'm sorry. But here's the video. So by the time you see this, you'll have this back, I promise you. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right into what we're gonna be doing today with this thing. Okay, so before we start talking about how this thing works and using it on camera and showing you guys all that good stuff, I want to talk about the things I like and don't like about this thing. Things I like. One, it's got this little arm up top that has a tray cut in it that grabs onto the rim of cases. You guys will see me using that feature here in a bit, but I'll also take a picture to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about and roll that in. That's really cool. So if you buy your ammo in boxes, like a lot of people do, you go to Walmart or wherever, buy a couple 50 round boxes, you can open up the box, take this thing, just slide it right over the rounds, pick them up, and that's how this is designed to work. That's really cool. Less chance of spilling ammo everywhere. You don't hurt your thumbs. It's a very quick process to get the ammo out and going. And then you take this little guy here, put it on, shove it into the magazine. That's pretty cool. It seems to be very well built out of very good materials. It looks like it's molded just from looking at how it's made. But it looks very sturdy. It's got some thick plastic, especially in some of the more stress-prone areas. I can't bend anything on this. I mean, I can get a little bit of flex in this arm, but not very much. I mean, unless I try to break the thing, and I'm not going to try to break it. It seems to be pretty sturdy. It's also very ergonomic. It's designed with the human hand in mind to use it, and I think that's awesome because a lot of times people will make products that work and do not necessarily the same task, but something similar that's, you know, it makes a task easier, but if it's not ergonomic, it's not easy and comfortable and intuitive to use, then people are going to be less likely to use it. A good example I can think of is the old original Leathermans. I used to have one. It was the Super Tool 2, I believe. I've got it somewhere still. I don't know where, but when you open it up where all the tools went inside, it had super thin metal steel walls on the outside of those tools. But that's also where you're applying pressure when you're gripping with the pliers. So if you really had to grab onto something tight, that steel, even though it was rounded on the top, it wasn't sharp or square, it still dug into your fingers and your hand, and it hurt. It made it uncomfortable to use. Thankfully, Leatherman has for a long time done a much better job with that, and they've had thicker, more rounded sides and things like that, just more comfortable tools to use. But that old Leatherman is an example of an unergonomic tool. This does not seem to be an unergonomic tool, if I can use my words. I'm sorry, guys, but the show must go on anyway. So that's what I think overall. First impressions right out the gate, just telling you guys, it's made well, it looks to be durable, it looks to be ergonomic. I like the design, I like the idea, I like that it's easy to just take ammo out of the box like that. That's really cool. Good job, E.T.S. Now, what do I not like about it? One, I don't like the size. It's fairly thin and slim, but it's also long and just big. It doesn't weigh a lot. It's not a heavy thing. I mean, you know, a few ounces, but if you're putting it in a range bag, throwing it in the back of the truck, who cares about that, right? You're not hiking with this thing. But it's big, and I do see the possibility of something breaking this if, you know, you start to snatch it, or you throw a bag around and it's not a very thickly padded bag, or not a very rigid like nylon type bag or something on the outside. This could possibly end up breaking on you. Not saying it's gonna happen, it may never happen, but because it is long and relatively thin compared to the rest of it, I see a chance of this piece breaking. The other thing that I'm not a big fan of is that this piece is its own separate thing. And if you don't have this piece, which is what actually pushes the rounds down into the magazine, the whole thing is useless. So even though it's not super small, you could still lose this. I've lost things that were bigger than this, and if you lose it, you basically lost the entire tool. It's no longer any good to you. Those are the only real cons I see from a construction and appearance standpoint. Now let's get into actually using the thing and how that goes. All right, so full disclosure, I have actually used this a few times. The day I first got it in, I sat on the couch, unloaded a couple of mags, started playing around with it, letting Mrs. Country use it, and it seemed to work fairly well. It seemed like there was going to be a learning curve, I'll say that. And then I took it out to the range and tried to use it at the range, and I actually did it on camera a couple of times. And let's see how that went. Rammer, I don't know if that's what it's called, that's what I'm going to call it. Does about 10 rounds at a time. Put it on top, and it gets a little stiff to get started, which is not something I really like about it. Also, the magazine just came out. Interesting, that's going to go in the review. Magazine popped out towards the bottom. That's all right. So I figure I'd use a little bit, do a review on it. It's only for $9 and $40, and it is stiff to get started. This is one of Mrs. Country's M&P9 mags, and again, maybe it's user error, but I cannot get this thing to want to go smooth. There we go. Now that I got it started, it's not too bad. But wow, that was only like 10 or 11 rounds too. That was pretty stiff. I don't know how I feel about this thing yet. I'm gonna have to use it some more. Yeah. So I was less impressed out on the range. It's one thing to be able to do it sitting on the couch, drinking a beer, watching Predator or something, right? But if you can't use this thing on the range, or at least I can't use it well and effectively on the range and without frustration, then what's the point? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's user error. And you know what? We're going to find that out tonight in this video. So if you haven't, if you've thought about clicking off at this point, don't. Just wait. We're going to find out together for realsies how easy or hard this thing is to use and how much of a learning curve there is to using it. To that end, I have a selection of 9mm double stack magazines on the table. If I didn't already mention it, this thing is for 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson double stack magazines. And I literally went through my gun safe and said, what double stacks do I have in 9mm? I don't have any 40s because I don't like 40. I don't know if I've told you guys that or not. I don't like 40. 40 can go away. If you don't like that, post down in the comments. Let's talk about it. What are the benefits of each? Anyway, back to the video. I have a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 compact magazine. This is Mrs. Country's magazine. I stole it for the video. That'll just be our little secret, right? Right? Okay, cool. I also have a Beretta 92A1 magazine as a stand-in for any Beretta Model 92 type magazine. I have an XDM 9mm magazine, full size, 19 rounds. I have a Sig Sauer P365 mag. This is the standard 10 round mag with the flush fit base plate. Just stand in for any of them. I have a Hudson H9 magazine. I have a Beretta PX4 Storm subcompact 9mm magazine, 13 round variety. This is the one with the little extendo pinky latch on it, just because. I've got a CZ P10C magazine here. I have a Magpul brand Glock 9mm magazine. This is a 21 rounder right here. And I have a Glock factory happy stick, 33 round, beautiful, amazing freedom device. I love you. I love you so. Oh wait, sorry guys, I'm still recording. Just to ignore that last part. Anyway, so I'm gonna go through one at a time on camera, show you guys how well or not this thing works with these magazines. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the M&P 9 compact magazine, the 15 rounder here. And the way I'm gonna do this is I took the ammo that I keep in these magazines out. I've got it in this little old pot here that we don't use anymore, just to kind of keep it in one spot. I'm gonna dig the ammo out, throw it onto this thing. Now, yeah, I could grab a box of ammo or whatever and use it that way, but then I have to keep unloading and reloading magazines back and forth and back and forth. And I don't keep my ammo in boxes for the most part. Unless it's defensive ammo, it usually just goes in bulk in an ammo can, but that's a video for a separate day. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna demonstrate what it would be like if you were actually taking the rounds out of the box, but I'm just gonna be throwing them on the thing myself one at a time. So, and I won't make you guys watch this whole process, but you can start to see how the ammo fits on there. I think the idea is just to put 10 on at a time. So you guys can see how this goes. Pretty simple. I'm gonna put the rest of the 10 on here and then I'll be right back. All right, so I got 10 rounds loaded on this thing, leaving room at the top for the little pusher guy. I'm gonna take my magazine, I'm gonna shove it in the bottom. Now, obviously I wanna make sure I orient it the right way, the way that the rounds are supposed to be facing in the magazine. Push it in there. It does have these little flexible pieces. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but like right there. So to provide tension on different size magazines, to hold them in there. And this one, there we go. I had to kind of angle it forward a little bit like this as I was sticking it in the mag well, we'll call it, to get that to pop past those retention tabs. I'm gonna push it all the way up until it doesn't go anymore. Now, to be fair, if I mess this up, I didn't get any directions or anything like this. It literally came to me just like this without the magazine and the ammo, obviously. So if there's a step or a process in here that I'm missing, E.T.S, reach out, let me know. I'd be more than happy to do a second video talking about how I screwed up using your product. I am not infallible, I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with admitting that. After I've got my rounds on there, I'll stick the little pusher down on. I'm gonna do this in two different ways for these magazines, guys. The first time I'm gonna hold it up without putting it down on the table, and then if the magazine pops out, like it did on me in the clip you saw earlier, then I'll put it down on the table and see if that makes a difference or not. So I'm gonna hold it as it seems like it's intended to be held with the human hand and push down, and meeting a lot of resistance there. I mean, I stand up, you see how it's pushing the magazine down? If I keep pushing, I'm gonna do this over the pot because I guarantee, yeah, nope, it's not going. Yeah, it keeps pushing the magazine, guys. So watch what happens when I pull the mag out. And not a single round loaded into the magazine. Can't say that I like that. Let's try it again with the magazine on the table and see if that makes any difference. I was holding on to this part like it looks like you're supposed to hold on to it, but it just didn't have enough friction to hold it in. Maybe it was just this magazine. Who knows? I don't know. That's why I have a variety here to try. So I'm gonna reset the test, put it on the table, and we'll go from there. All right guys, I angled the camera down a little bit so you could see better. I'm gonna hold it the same way, but I'm gonna hold the base plate of the magazine up against the table. And we're gonna try this again and see if this helps. Yeah, I'm meeting a lot of resistance here. I mean, a lot. Like, I feel like I'm gonna break something if I keep doing this. I've got the magazine fully inserted. Pull it out again. Put these back on. Let's see if there's a... Maybe I'm not supposed to insert it all the way. We'll try that. Just see how that works. Again, on the table. Nope. Nope, I can tell you. Not a thing. Okay, cool. So, I'm gonna try this one more time. And I'm not even gonna put these rounds back on the little arm. I'm just gonna throw them back in the pot. Put the magazine all the way in. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It gives a pretty positive little click there when it's inserted. So to me, it seems like that's where I'm supposed to stop pushing. Work it back and forth. Also, if you look here, it is, the loader pusher piece is in the little guide that it's supposed to have there. So I'm not using that improperly, because if I were, it wouldn't be fitting onto the little tower there. Okay, I finally got it to load something. Jesus Christ. All right, let's keep going. We'll try it again. But if you guys saw, like, I had to push it against something. Maybe if I pushed it at the range, you know, I don't have a table or something like that, maybe push it against the body. Maybe I could make it work that way. Maybe I'll try that too. Why not? Just put the rest of these rounds on here. I won't make you guys watch this either. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to try just pushing it against my body instead of the table. Seeing if I can make that work better. Kinda. Let's get a couple rounds in there. I'm having to push pretty hard. And maybe this thing has some sort of break-in period. I don't know. I actually think it's easier to load this magazine by hand. To be totally honest with you guys, I think it's easier to load this by hand. But I did get all 15 rounds in there by pushing the bottom of the magazine against something. To be fair, if you use the Uplula, you have to push the bottom of the magazine against something. So I can't really knock this product for that, the E.T.S speed loader, because you have to push the magazine against something with this too. And I love this thing, been using it for years, but that takes a lot of force. I actually think I could have gotten this magazine loaded more quickly, either by hand and certainly with this thing. So, I don't know, let's move on to the next magazine and see if maybe this thing just doesn't like M&P magazines that much, which I would find surprising because that's a fairly popular handgun option. So, yeah, let's just see. What the heck, why not? All right, guys, up next we have the Beretta 92A1 magazine. Again, 92 series, it doesn't really matter, they're interchangeable. This one holds 17 rounds, and I've already got my 10 rounds loaded onto the tower here. I'm gonna put this one in. I'm gonna try to put it in fairly straight. I'm not gonna do the forward and back like AK rock and lock thing. And okay, that one didn't give me that same satisfying click that the M&P magazine did. That's interesting. If you look here at the front, by the way, I don't want to point, I mentioned this earlier, it's got this little tab right here. You can see it's cut on the sides. I'll throw in better pictures of this stuff too for you guys. But there's also another one up here that doesn't have the little lifter tab on it. So that's the thing I think that gave me that satisfying click with the M&P mag, but not with this mag. Let's go ahead and throw this guy on here and see what happens. I'm gonna do it not on the table first. A lot of resistance. Really get behind it. Yeah, no, like I am shaking trying to push these rounds in. I'm pushing really hard and it's not going anywhere, and I don't want to break this because it's not mine. Okay, got one round that, oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to take a picture of that. I'm gonna pause the camera because the camera is also my phone. I'm gonna take a picture of this real quick to show you guys, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, you see how that round is just kind of like laying in there, almost primer down? That's interesting. That seems to make sense. I mean, that's kind of the angle-ish that you would want the round going into the magazine, but it's getting hung up in there somehow. And actually, now I'm having trouble. There we go. 2 rounds popped out. Let's just load those back on top. Interesting, okay. Now, we'll try this again. Magazine fully inserted, completely all the way. I got 10 rounds loaded on the tower. This time, pushing it up against the table here and really bearing down. Really bearing down. Jesus. This thing's like some SKS or Mosin stripper clips I've tried to use before. That's really, actually, now that I mention it, that's kind of what this reminds me of. Same general, yeah, I got all the rounds. Same like feel. It's like you're struggling with it, and then it goes and it stops. And you struggle with it, and it goes, and then you're done. Wow. And then, okay, look. You guys see if I can make it easy for you to see that gap there in the magazine. So it's not fully seating all the rounds to the rear. I'll take a picture of that and roll it in too. That's weird. I mean, yeah, you can seat it yourself like that if you want, but just for gits and shiggles, let's see how the up Lula does in that category, because I don't know that I've ever actually really paid attention to that. If you guys are interested, okay, that one didn't seat all the way back with the up Lula. Let's try another one. If you guys are interested in a review on the up Lula, by the way, let me know. Okay, so I'm gonna push that one further back. Yeah, okay. Same. I guess I never really paid attention. You can seat them to the back pretty easily with your hand. That's not a big deal. It's just something I noticed that I had never noticed with the up Lula before. But then again, I tend to just kind of use my hands most of the time to load magazines. I don't know, I feel like getting the up Lula out and then using it. I'm so used to using my thumbs, it's not a big deal. I don't know why I grabbed the up Lula again. But let's try the E.T.S mag. I wasn't a reviewer. Well, no, I probably have used the mag Lula or up Lula since I started the channel, but wasn't thinking about reviewing it. I just kind of was using it because it's a thing and I like it. All right, last 5 rounds for the Beretta mag. And then if I use this pinching technique here, sometimes that works better. Oh no, never mind. Just kidding. Thought I saw something that I didn't see. Dang. Just to be 100% clear with you guys, by the way, E.T.S didn't send this out to me. I really want to try some of their magazines because I've heard a lot of great things. And they're doing some cool stuff like 40 round Glock mags and 40 round M&P mags and stuff. And I like their company and their philosophy and the stuff that they do. Good grief. This thing just will not load. I thought I broke my mic there for a second. That last round will not go in. Let's see if I can do it with my hands. Yeah, easy. Too easy. All right, well, let's move on and see what other magazines do. Okay, guys, I got my 10 rounds loaded up on the tower here. I've been using just like nickel cased hollow points up to this point. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference or not, but in this magazine, because I have a lot of magazines and I like to keep them all loaded and hollow points are expensive, I actually have 4 FMJs that are brass cased, followed by 4 jacketed hollow points that are also brass cased, and then the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't count 5 jacketed hollow point brass case FMJs, or hollow points. Good Lord. And then the other 10 rounds for this 19 round magazine are going to be some more nickel cased jacketed hollow points. So let's see how the XDM magazine goes in. Try to put it straight in first. And it's fighting me, but if I AK rock and lock it, goes in. Does it give me that satisfying? Not really. It doesn't give me that satisfying click, but I can feel that it's all the way seated. 10 rounds, different kinds of ammo. That was way easier. Holy crap. That makes this thing seem like it's doing its job. I don't know if it's the feed angle or the brass case or the stainless steel mag. I don't know, but we're going to find out because I got 9 more rounds to put in this thing. So grab our little bowl over here. And this time I am going to put this in the video and let you guys watch it. If you don't want to watch me sit here and put ammo on this tower and you're thinking, you're a freaking idiot, why don't you just grab a box of ammo? You can fast forward, but if you've been listening to me this whole time, I'm already done, so sucks to be you. Anyway, 9 more rounds, all nickel cased, jacketed hollow points, AK rock and lock, all the way in. I did it on the table that time too, to be fair. I think I'm gonna kind of give up on not pushing it against something, just because I don't hold it against the up lula. So I feel like it's unfair to hold that, the fact that I have to support the magazine somehow, against the ETS loader. So on the table, pusher part thing installed. A little more resistance, but they went in still way easier than the other magazines. And that last round actually went in. There's a pretty big gap there. Didn't see it all the way, but that's not a huge deal. Wow. Yeah, I really had to push that one back. But still, not a huge deal. The other rounds all seem to be pretty well seated in there. So, all right. That was the XDM mag. Let's try something else. This one's going to be fun. All right, guys. I got my 10 rounds of brass case jacketed hollow point loaded up. I think these are like the cheapo Walmart Remington jacketed hollow points. But I'm going to try out the P365 mag. Now, if you guys know anything about the P365, you know that it's a really, really skinny thin mag. It is technically a double stack-ish kind of magazine. I just want to see if this is going to work. If it doesn't, I'm not going to hold it against the ETS loader because it's not really designed for that. I'm pretty sure these things actually came out before this magazine and the gun that it goes in came out. So I'm not going to hold it against them if it doesn't work, but I want to see. So let's try to put it in straight in. Nope, fighting me. So AK rock and lock goes in, and yep, it's seated all the way. I can't push it any further. And there is a gap between the bottom of the loader and the top of the base plate here. So it's in there. Now let's see if we can get 10 rounds into this magazine. One of them pushed, a couple of them pushed through, but not into the magazine. Right there. Put them back on the tower and try it again. Okay. Nope. Nope. I'm not gonna break this thing. I'm not gonna damage my magazine. That time I pushed 3 through, but they didn't go in the magazine. So, apparently, doesn't like P365 pattern magazines. Well, okay, now we know. I'll just use my handy dandy little upluler here, because it's sitting here and why not. But I won't make you guys watch this part. I'll bring you back in a minute for the next magazine test. All right, guys, next up, Hudson H9 magazine. Straight in. Yeah, okay, went in. Seated all the way. Push it down. I actually have 2 different kinds of brass case JHPs here. One's a 115 grain, one's a 124 grain. Relatively easy. Looks like it might have gotten all the rounds in. It did. Cool. That one went pretty well. Let's try the next 5 and see. If I can not throw my ammo everywhere and get the dog hair off of it. Alright, magazine in, click into place, loader on top. A little bit more difficult, but got them all in there. Loaded up completely. Good to go on the Hudson mags. So what I'm noticing is that this thing's kind of spotty. Some magazines it works great, some magazines it doesn't. But what's weird is 2 of probably the most popular magazines we've tried so far, the M&P, at least the version 2.0 mag, which I'm not sure if there's a dimensional difference at all between the 1.0 and the 2.0 mags. I highly doubt it, to be totally honest with you, just because I feel like Smith & Wesson is smarter than that and wants magazines to be compatible across the versions, but I could be wrong. But either way, M&P 2.0, pretty popular gun. And of course the Beretta 92, like, there are millions and millions of these magazines in the country. I'm really, really surprised that those 2 didn't really work so well with this loader. But we have a few more magazines left to try, so let's just go ahead and try those. All right, guys, now we have the Beretta PX4 Storm subcompact 13 round magazine. Got 10 rounds of nickel cased jacketed hollow points loaded up. I think these are, yeah, these are 115 Fiocchis. Straight in. Yeah, it went straight in. Seated all the way. Turn the little loader around. By the way, I'm gonna leave that in there. By the way, if you guys look at this loader, you see how that block at the bottom isn't perfectly in the middle of the loader? That's intentional. You actually want that block to go over the rounds. So it goes over like so. Now, if you guys get confused and don't remember which way to go, just try it, because it'll only go one way. They idiot proofed it like that. And nothing yet. Sounds like I got one. Okay. Getting a little worried there for a second, but something happened. I took some pressure off, put some pressure back on, and we got 10 in there. Okay, let's try the last 3. That is kind of cool. I have noticed that if I just kind of drop the round on there, it'll like vibrate and bounce down. Here, I'll show you guys. That's kind of cool. I don't know. Makes it at least a little bit more entertaining for me. Maybe not for you. Pops into place. Drop our loader. Okay, take some pressure off. Nope. 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 Put a lot of downward pressure because sometimes that helps. Nope. But I know it works because I got it to work. Maybe it's just kind of iffy with these magazines. So I'm gonna stop because again, don't want to break anything. And I will load this one with the mag lula. Boom. All right, 3 more mags left to go, guys. Okay, next up, CZ P10C magazine. This is one of the Gen 1 mags that uses the square hole in the front to latch. 10 rounds of nickel-cased jacketed hollow points. Sorry, these are Federal Hydra-Shocks. These are either 147 grain or 135 grain. That's my preferred carry load. Just gotta go straight in. This is actually the gun I'm carrying right now too. Nope, straight in's fighting me, so we'll AK it, seat it completely. Put that on. Okay, put some pressure on, take some pressure off. Had to do that twice. Pressure on, pressure off, pressure on, pressure off, all the things. And it did load the first 10. Let's try the second, or the last 5, I should say. Those on there. Okay, magazine in, rock and lock style, seated, pusher on the top. And those went in fairly well. Cool. So yeah, looks like the CZ mags work pretty well with this thing too. Interesting. At least the P10 series, which should be the same for the P10 full size, P10 compact, P10 subcompact, P07, P09, because they all use the same magazine pattern. So I don't have any of those other guns to test, but it seems like it should work with all of them just based off of that test. Let's move on to the next mag. All right, now we're getting into the magazines that you really want a speed loader for, or at least some sort of loading aid. Got the P-Mag, Magpul branded Glock magazine. This is the 21 round 9mm mag. And then after that, of course, we have the Happy Stick. So I'm gonna start off with the 21 rounder. I grabbed these two because they're different pattern. I mean, they're the same pattern, but they're different manufacturers. They're made differently. So maybe the loader works well with one and not the other. Maybe it works well with both or doesn't work with either. We'll see. But thought it would be interesting to test that out in this video. So Magpul mag, straight in. Oh, rock and lock. Yep. And seated all the way. Loader on top, little pusher thingy. Easy peasy. I'll be honest with you, I'm not surprised. If this thing didn't work well with Glock magazines, I would really be questioning the designer of the tool, because that's probably the magazine that it is most likely going to be interfacing with. I mean, let's just be honest. I didn't already say it, but these are some more of the either 135 grain or 147 grain Federal Hydra-Shocks. I don't know which grain because I've got some of both. I think I've got more 147s than 135s, but unloading mags, going to the range, reloading mags over the years, kind of got mixed up. So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's still an effective round either way. 9, 10, and then I've got one more. to make it 21, so why not? I'll just try to load 11 at once instead of 10. How about that? Okay. Interesting. There we go. Okay, so I'm finding that if you run into issues, pull your hand off and then try to put some more pressure back on. Maybe you're pushing at a weird angle, like maybe you're torquing the thing this way or something, and it doesn't like it, and you're not going as straight down as you possibly could. That could be a problem, but I've tried that with all the magazines this thing didn't really want to work with, and it didn't help. So some of them it's helping, some of it's not, but pretty good function with Magpul brand Glock mags. That doesn't surprise me. That actually makes me very happy. So now we're going to move on to the Happy Stick. First 10 rounds loaded up for the Happy Stick. This is a little bit of a mixture of Fiocchi and LAX reloads, 115 grain for all of them. Just brass case FMJ, nothing special for the Happy Stick. Let's try to go straight in with it. And nope, AK Rock and Lock works just fine. Make sure it's seated all the way. That was the easiest of all of them, but if you guys have ever loaded a Happy Stick before, you know they start out super easy. They don't stay super easy. Let's try the next 10 rounds. If you guys are like me and you keep your ammo in bulk, by the way, this is what you're going to be doing if you use this tool. I just don't feel like keeping up with boxes and trays and all that stuff at the range. And then either having to remember to throw it away on the way out, making sure it doesn't blow away in the wind. You know, if I forget and it blows away, or not blows away, I forget it in the truck, it stays in the truck forever. And it's just a pain. 6, 8, 9, 10. That should be 10. Let's try this. Okay, a little more difficult, still doable. Do the next 10. Like I said, this is where you really want a helper, especially if you're going to do like a lot of training or you're shooting a match or something and you're using, if I can use my words, a Happy Stick of some sort. You're going to want a loader like this to save your thumbs. And be kind of nice to have one that worked super well and didn't take a lot of energy or effort or guesstimation. I'm going to put more than 10 on here. I'm just going to, actually that's the last 13 rounds. So, see how this works. And now I'm at a point where it doesn't want to do anymore. And I can see that I'm flexing this thing just a bit, this tower, as I'm trying to load these last rounds. Nope. Not wanting to work so well. I'm pushing really hard, guys. That's what she said. Nope. How many did we not get in there? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Couldn't get the last 8 in there. I don't know. I'm just as confused as you. But let me finish loading this thing up with the Lula loader, and then we'll go in and talk some conclusions about the E.T.S loader. Okay, so what do I think overall about the E.T.S loader? Like I said, it's well made, it's quality, good materials, seems very durable. I mean, I was really pushing, and there were a couple points where I was actually worried about cracking or breaking this tower as I was pushing those rounds down, and nothing at all, no issues. It looks perfectly fine. It didn't crack, it didn't break, it didn't warp or flex or anything. I'm not a fan of the two-piece design. I like that it's relatively ergonomic and seems to positively lock the magazines in with the different tensioning tabs that it has. However, I don't like that it doesn't actually lock the magazine in. Like I said, I'm not going to hold that against it because ETS or the Maglula doesn't do that either. But you know, if you're going to have the retention tabs and stuff in the bottom, maybe that's just to keep the magazine in exactly the right spot. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it because it doesn't work with a lot of mags. And I'd say the biggest con is that it doesn't work with every double stack magazine. I mean, it worked really well with the XDM mag, the P10C mag, the Hudson H9 mag, and the Magpul Glock mag. Now, to be totally fair, I think it would have worked very well with your standard Glock 17, Glock 19, Glock 26, and 40 cal equivalent and 357 cal equivalent magazines. Possibly, haven't tested either of those calibers, but I think with the standard size magazines it would work fairly well because it did work fairly well up to a point with the 33 round Happy Stick. It also worked kind of well, if I remember right, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I think it worked kind of well with the Beretta PX4 subcompact mag, but I couldn't get those last 3 rounds in, which I thought was weird. So these 4 magazines are in the good to go category with the ETS loader. These 2 magazines are in the category with the ETS loader. And then these 3 mags, the M&P9 Compact 2.0, the 92 pattern mag, Beretta 92 pattern, and the P365 mag are in the no-go category for the ETS loader, at least in my experience in my testing. So overall, I think it depends. I haven't looked up a price on this thing. I want to say they're probably somewhere around 25, 30 bucks. I have no idea. I will post that here. And to be honest with you guys, ETS is known for making quality products out of good, inexpensive materials, but they're still good materials, and offering them at a good price. They're a good competitive option to factory OEM magazines in the case of the magazines they make. And I don't think this is any different as long as it works with your magazine. So if you're in the market for a loader and you want something that has this style, you want something that you can literally take ammo out of the box and load it straight and never actually have to touch it with your hands, that's actually kind of a cool feature. This may work great for you. It's a good product for what magazines it does work for. But just be advised, it does not work with every single magazine. And for me as a collector, as somebody that has a lot of different double stack 9mm handgun magazines for a lot of different double stacked 9mm handguns, that kind of sucks. I don't want to get something to take to the range if I want to go just have a fun day, or take a new shooter to the range and let them shoot a bunch of different guns or whatever. Or if you're a reviewer and you're going to go test 10 different double stack 9s at the range in the same day, I don't want to take something that's only going to work with some of them. If I'm going to be doing a high round count day, I'm going to go to a training class or something like that, I wouldn't buy this right before you go to a training class or a competition before you actually try to use it. Get a feel for how the thing works. Get a feel for what kind of ammo it may or may not like. I don't know. I tested a bunch of different stuff, but it seemed to be more based on the magazine than it did on the type of ammo. And yeah, see if it works with the magazines you're going to be using for your gun at that course. And if it does, great. You got a Hudson 9, you're going to go run that in a course, or an XDM, awesome. You know, training class, competition, whatever, cool. Run this thing. That's awesome. But I wouldn't buy this without, and then take it to something like that without testing it out. And then, you know, if I want something that's going to be truly, truly universal, again, Maglula, Uplula. Yeah. Now, I want to make something very clear. This is not intended to be an ETS bashing video. Like I said, the product works well with some magazines. It's well built, it's well constructed. Furthermore, ETS as a company recently sent a crap ton, I think it was like 4 huge boxes of their 30 round AR mags to Mr. Guns and Gear, trying to get them out in time for the Virginia rally at the state capitol, which happened on the 21st, I believe. I don't remember exactly what day it was, but rally day in Virginia. Because of shipping issues and stuff like that, those magazines didn't get to that rally in time. That's not ETS's fault. That's not Mr. Guns and Gear's fault. The company paid out of their own pocket. They gave free product away. They paid for the shipping to support patriots in Virginia and do their best in their own way, their own unique way, to protest unconstitutional anti-gun crap. And that, to me, is huge. That's awesome. Thank you, ETS, for doing that. In my book, you guys are a great company. I want to test out a crap ton of your mags. I really want to test out a bunch of your Glock mags, your M&P mags. I'd like to get a VP9 and test out some VP9 mags. Pretty much any gun you guys make a magazine for that I have or that I want, I'd love to get some and test them out. Not asking you to send them to me. I'm planning on getting some in the future, but that it's on the very long list of things. But I wanted to say thank you to ETS for being patriots and for supporting the Second Amendment and supporting our community. And I am not bashing ETS in this video. Do I think this is the best option on the market for a loader? I think it depends on what magazine you're using. Take it for what you will, guys. If you got a buddy that has one and you want to test it out before you buy it, see if he'll let you use it. See if he'll let you play with your magazines and your ammo and stuff. If you only run an XDM 9mm and you're like, okay, I'm good to go, then cool, you're good to go. This video should help you out with that process. I think it's great. It's just not for every magazine. It is what it is. But anyway, enough of that. I'm gonna get off that soapbox. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys like the video, please hit the like button, the little thumbs up down below, and the subscribe button as well. Also, share it with your friends. That helps out the channel a lot. You know, if they're looking into this thing, or you know, you guys have talked about maybe trying one out or something. No, it's just one more data point out there on the internet. That's all it is. This isn't gospel. This isn't supposed to be the only source of information, but this has been my experience with the product, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys would share that out there and have a conversation about it. Speaking of conversations, if you guys have questions about this or anything else, please post down in the comments below. I try to get back to everybody that posts a comment. There are some that I can't get back to or that I don't get back to, but I do try to get back to as many as I can. And if you don't want to send or post a comment down below for the world to see, send me an email. My email address is down below, as well as a link to my Instagram and Mrs. Country's Instagram. So you can send me a DM over there as well if you'd like, and I'll respond back to that as well. Other than that, guys, like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. Y'all take it easy, roll tide, and I'll see you later.